Hey everyone, Misha here, and today I am reviewing an Oracle card deck, kind of in the spirit of the Halloween season for 2021. I am sharing with you one of my favorite decks for shadow work, the Dark Goddess Oracle cards. So let's get to it. Now they come in a really super sturdy box. You can see that this thing is thick, and it is the type where the top slides off. And it's pretty, if you like boxes, this is a good one because it's nice and sturdy and it looks really nice on a shelf. It also protects the cards really well. I especially appreciate the fact that the cards are almost the same, or actually they are the same size as the box, which means that if you're carrying the box around, they're not going to get dinged up or messed up in any way. In theory, hopefully. There is a booklet that comes with it. It is not in color. It's in black and white, which for me personally, that's always something I'm fine with. But you can see that you'll get the image of the card, which is nice because I find that helps you connect in, the name of the goddess, and the title, or I guess you could say the idea or the concept that is on the card. What I really love about this deck is the book is, I thought, written really beautifully. And so every single goddess has a really interesting little piece of prose that goes right along with it. And I think that that's a really nice way to connect in with the energy of the card. For each card, you get the guidance from this particular goddess, the foresight, and then the revealed. And so the foresight is really nice because that's sort of if you think of it as like the shadowy side, kind of almost like a warning of that card. So sometimes people think of things being drawn like reversed, as being like the shadow side of a card. So this would be kind of the shadow message, the guidance. Like I said, what I really like about this deck is it really is great for shadow work. So in terms of this, like it's nice that I opened it to this card because it's prosperity. And so this is talking about how like it's okay to prosper. Prosperity is great, but you don't want to prosper at someone else's well-being and not having a life of excess. So even the guidance has that quality to it of the darkness, which I think is quite lovely because we can often make choices in our readings to not look at the shadowy side. And with this deck, nope, it's in your face, it's gonna happen. And then the revealed, I really love this part too because this tells you a little bit about this goddess. And I have found that of all the goddess decks I have, this one is one of my favorites because there's a lot of goddesses in here that you just don't see appearing in other decks, and I absolutely love that. So let's set that aside and we'll take a look at the cards themselves. So you can see these are pretty big. So I have tiny hands, but look at, like, these are almost so large that it's a little tough for me to hold them in my hands. And if you have smaller hands, it might be a little hard to shuffle. I actually don't have issues with it. I just kind of make it work for myself. And I like them so much that it doesn't bother me. But I know some people have said about this deck that because it is so large, it's hard to shuffle. It does have the really pretty silver siding, and the cards are super glossy. They're a nice thick cardstock too. And one of the things that I really love about them is that they made the image of the goddess large enough so that, we can really see them. So here is Aradia, the goddess of defense, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the goddess of, and her message in this card is defense. So I'll show you some of the different goddesses. There's Aradia, Tiamat. Really, like, I think this is the only deck I've ever seen her show up in, which I love. Oh man, so this deck has a little bit of a sense of humor, and I love that it's throwing the goddesses at me that are like, oh, I'm probably gonna slaughter their names, and I do apologize for that, but Arishkagal, the Morrigan. Okay, so I want to just stop here on this card for a second and point something out about this deck, which is the fact that it really reminds me of a D&D game. So Dungeons and Dragons, some of that, the sword and sorcery kind of fantasy art. If you are not into that, if you like your goddesses a little bit softer, a little more gentle, this is not the deck for you. Because, I mean, Morrigan's coming in right here. She is coming in with, like, her armor bra and almost naked, and she's still going to kick some ass. So if that isn't something that you like, this is a very comic book style of art, I think is a good way to put it, then this deck might not be the best for you. I will completely admit that when I got this deck, there wasn't, so the back of the box, there's not a lot of information about the deck. I mean, there's information, but the pictures, you can't really see a lot. So I totally bought it on instinct alone. And when I got it, I was kind of like I love this picture of Gaia, but when I got it, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, man. Some of these arts, like this one in particular, is very much has a kind of a CGI video game quality to it, and I wasn't really sure whether or not I was gonna like it. But as I started working with the deck, I absolutely fell in love. And I appreciate the fact that there's so many goddesses in here that don't often get to have their story told. And I really loved the fact that they're all here just waiting for us with messages like the Pythia, like how awesome with her Python. And then we have Scotty. Again, I'm sorry in advance for any names I murder, but there's Gobanisex and Scylla. Yeah, so even some of the goddesses that show up in mythology as monsters are here. And I think that, what is really lovely about this is it really encourages us to learn from these different goddesses' stories and their experiences and their wisdom, and also to understand that, sorry about that, everybody, that just because something seems shadowy or dark doesn't mean that there is no value. I think a lot of times we turn away from the things in life that are hard, those moments that are rough. And I mean, heck yeah, like I don't want to sit in the dark and contemplate my negative characteristics. But when we do that, we really learn a lot about ourselves and about kind of where we need to grow and where we need to shine light on in our lives. And I really love this deck for that. I completely admit this is one of my favorite cards. So, all my talk about, I don't know if I really like the kind of fantasy art. No, screw that. I love it. It's awesome. This looks like it's a page out of Xena Warrior Princess. So I just dig it so much. But what I was saying was, before I got distracted by this gorgeous artwork, is that we need to look at those elements of ourselves that we might not otherwise want to face, and not to smite them or get rid of them, but to understand that we can learn from them and grow and really transform and arise and align into something that is more in keeping with how we want to live life. One of the things about these cards that I really do enjoy is that each one can stand alone, or you can use them, of course, in a spread. And there are several spreads in the deck to give you some ideas on how to do that. But they're also great for like a once a month pull, where you're asking, like, what shadow qualities do I need to consider in my life right now? Or what qualities do I need to bring to light is one of my favorite questions to ask with this deck. What I really love in terms of working with this deck is to just sit down with a cup of tea, something really comforting and soothing, like maybe some lavender, maybe a little cacao, and then work with these cards, because I find them to be really powerful and just really, really lovely. So yeah, this is a great deck, and I'll leave you. We'll stop with Hecate because she's my lady. So I'll leave you with that. And these are available pretty widely. Like, I think you can probably get them on Amazon and places like that. And I'm just gonna bump the camera like 16 more times. We'll just do that. Sorry, everybody. But this might be around in your local area, so don't hesitate to ask your local witchy places if they might have this deck, because it's really a neat one, and I find that it turns up when you're ready for it. So if you're looking for a nice shadow-oriented deck, and believe me, this one is very definitely oriented on that. If you're looking for a deck that will help you see in the dark, this is a beautiful deck for that, and I do strongly recommend it. I think it's wonderful to work with, and it's one of my favorite oracle decks for shadow work. So I hope you all enjoyed this quick little review. If you did, please feel free to smash that like button. It does support us, and also subscribe, because we have some more tarot reviews and oracle deck reviews coming for you in the month, especially ones that are perfect for the season and throughout the year as well as some different videos on herbalism, Chinese medicine, movement, belly dance, tai chi, all the goodness to help you grow a healthier you. I'll see you next time.